In the early morning of the 5th of October 2011, Liberian-registered container vessel the Rena ran aground on Astrolabe Reef off the coast of Tauranga. Months of rough weather broke the vessel apart, releasing over 1,000 containers into the sea and 350 tons of oil. Dismantling the jagged steel giant isn't for the faint-hearted. It's one of the most dangerous workplace environments in the world. That's why expert team Resolve Fire and Salvage have been called in to cut the ship up.
It's difficult, it's dangerous.
It is like a washing machine.
Waves hammering into some of the metals like a semi-truck, just slamming into a piece of metal for days on end.
Working alongside them is Maritime New Zealand's Chief Safety Inspector Dave Billington.
If you think about every single hazard that you can think of, put it in a shoebox, give it a shake around, turn it over at 36 degrees, partially submerge it in water, that's life on board the Rena.
The position of the ship and the raging seas makes transporting parts of it by boat too dangerous. Salvage master Frankie Leckie has come up with a novel way of doing the job.
We decided to use choppers, and it had never been done before. It's the first time ever that a wreck removal started with choppers.
Working on board means slicing through heavy steel on listing 35-degree angles.
That's a hell of a steep pitch to come up. So when we had the helicopters picking off the pieces, the guys had to be there cutting, hook it on, and then cut the last piece free, and then the chopper took it away.
Working out how to cut the ship up is naval architect Joey Farrell's job. If he gets the load wrong, he could bring the helicopter down, or worse, make the ship so unstable it tumbles off the reef.
We could just start arbitrarily cutting, and then, you'd have a catastrophic failure.
The huge chunks of steel are taken ashore by a barge currently docked at the port in Tauranga, where today Dave Billington is carrying out a safety inspection.
What we're seeing happening on the deck at the moment is the Resolve salvage team lifting sizable pieces of steel ashore, and that's going to get landed on the quay and be scrapped.
What's actually happened is the Rena came with containers, and now the Rena is being cut into small pieces. Now it's leaving in containers and going to China for resmelting.
The only way the ship can be removed now is by underwater cutting. This is an extremely dangerous job, which only specialist divers can do.
When this thing tore apart, everything just went everywhere. It's just twisted, jagged steel. It's a very big mess.
The divers cut the wreck up with hot welding rods.
It burns at 12,000 degrees, and it'll actually cut through steel like butter.
It's painstaking work with combustible materials and life-threatening consequences.
If you trap pockets of that gas with a fire, it creates a bomb.
It's a really dangerous procedure. We have 5 people just to maintain one person cutting. So there's a supervisor, a standby diver, a tender, and a standby dive tender just to support the one guy cutting, because if something were to go wrong, you have to be able to get to him and fast,
It's not just the materials that they're working with that can be dangerous. Earlier on in the year, unloading a container full of meat patties attracted some unwanted visitors.
The cargo had meat products in it, so the sharks would come around and they'd all hang around there.
To do their job properly, the divers need high-tech wetsuits with multiple lifelines and other underwater wizardry.
We have a machine that just heats the water like your household water heater, and we pump that right to the diver's suit, so that keeps them nice and warm, because it's cold and it gets very... When we started, you can actually hear the guy shivering after about 2 hours.
What's really pleasing to see is the chap there led against the bulkhead with the boiler suit on. He's actually the emergency standby diver. Underneath there, he's got his neoprene wetsuit, he's got his scuba ready to go, he's got his mask and all the equipment he needs to do to put a rescue into effect if need be. So it's really pleasing for me when I come on board the wreck. You read the paper procedures, you hear what's going on, and then you get around the wreck and see it's actually happening in the place of work.
Dave's impressed. It seems the Resolve team have passed their safety inspection with flying colours.
Yes, it's a good inspection. It's good for me to get out here, if you will, at the coalface, see what they're doing, and that allows me to get a better understanding of what's going on.